green, the ivy green, the prettiest picture you've ever seen is Christmas in Killarney with all of the folks at home. It's nice, you know, to kiss your beau while cuddling under the mistletoe. And Santa Claus, you know, of course, is one of the boys. That was a nice one to choose because it it's Irish.
It's on the Roddy and
It can,
Jules Christmas
it
list.
is on the Roddy and Jules Christmas list. So yeah, you know how I do. I always try to start with the song. That way, if we're having any glitches, issues, or problems, etc., I'm gonna also make sure that I've closed all of my extra stuff. Apparently, I have not. So I'm going to try
See
to
me
get that
judging.
done. I know, judge away. As you can see, welcome to Julia Pop, and we have Stephen joining us as Peanut Gallery. So thank you, Stephen, for joining me for Peanut Gallery for our theme, which is I listed it as odd holidays, but it's going to be just kind of talking about odd things about holidays as
It's
well as
also the even holidays
I don't know why I put you on here
and
for
the
the
prime
comic relief. I mean,
holidays.
you are the peanuttiest gallery of all, and I have Evan as the other peanut gallery, and I've had Karen as peanut gallery too,
That's true.
which I highly welcome. So, but again, like I said, welcome to Julia Pop. Those of you that are getting to join us, as you, if you've been here before, you know to comment away, chime in with all of your thoughts, ideas, and feelings about all the different holidays. Which ones are your favorites? Everything like that. So we'll get going on to that. So we don't waste any time because I do, of course, whenever I start to study up on my theme, I start thinking my way through it, and then I have like a whole bunch of stuff that I feel like I need to go through, and it ends up being a lot because I like to study. I also like pop culture. If you haven't heard, that's why I made this whole entire thing in the first place. So,
Don't
um,
worry, we'll stay on task because I
thanks.
am very. I'll make sure you stay on task. I won't divert you at all.
Yeah, I think you're going to divert me all the time. That's why I bring you. You have ridiculous facts about a
I
lot of
do.
different holidays, so it helps quite a bit. So, first of all, happy Mario Day. Did you know today is Mario Day?
Um. Okay.
Yeah. And so, what that means, my friends, if you haven't heard before, it's March 10th, and the abbreviation for March is MAR. And then today is the 10th, 1 0. And sometimes we use the 1 to make an I, and we use the 0 to make an O. So it's Mar E
That's
O.
cultural appropriation to those of us that actually speak leet speak. Those
Oh
coders
yeah,
that
you're
you all
cute. Yeah.
robbed our
Well,
stuff from us. I'm
well,
just
I will
saying.
give you credit. I did learn QQ more noob from you.
QQ more noob.
I learned that from you. Yeah, I learned it from watching you. So, Crystal's already here. Welcome, and we've already got her laughing. So that's good news. I like that a lot. All right. So holidays, what are they? They're reasons to celebrate, reasons to gather. Sometimes the holidays involve religions, and so those are things like feast days or changing of the seasons. Oftentimes, pagan holidays got kind of taken over by religious holidays. Oh,
You
what do you
know it.
got? You got your X Force on?
Yeah.
Nice. So Jeremy is noticing the X Force tee. Thank you, Jeremy, and welcome. Glad to have you here too. Feel free to chime in on
I have
holidays.
this comic as well.
Do we? And there might even be. Oh
Yes,
man,
it's Cable
you know what
versus
I didn't do?
Deadpool, which is just
Nice.
kick ass. There was also the exact opposite of this one from the Deadpool. So it
Oh,
was Deadpool versus Cable from the
so and
yeah
you the byline you're
yeah yeah
flipping who has Todd Billing.
yeah.
Gotcha. So there is a comic book day, but I forgot to write it down. Sorry. I know. I know. My bad.
I'm
It's
not
fine.
mad.
No, just disappointed. Yeah. Yep. So, and sometimes holidays cover specific people. So a specific so a saint's day. Sometimes a saint's day is the day they were born. Sometimes it's the day they died. Sometimes it's people from history. Sometimes it's people from politics, government. Sometimes it's a personal thing. We think of our own birthdays as being holidays and our anniversaries. And so sometimes it's more personal. Sometimes we celebrate the first birthdays of famous people. I know I do. I'm that kind of dork. Um, you don't. I know you don't. So
I barely celebrate my birthday. I'm not
that's
celebrating some other random person's
yeah,
birthday.
I suppose you're right. So with the religions, we have many different religions that have holidays that spill over outside of the religion. So in Christianity, of course, we have Christmas. Lots of people celebrate Christmas that aren't necessarily
It's
Christian,
very
and
secular at this
it's
point.
true. It's true. And same thing with Easter. I know we do the collecting of Easter eggs, Easter bunnies, and the thing is Easter falls right around the beginning of spring, so new life. It's that whole entire concept, of course. And so, and then of course, the Jewish faith has many different high holidays, things like Yom Kippur, Hanukkah, which falls around Christmas time for Christians, Rosh Hashanah, and some others that are very difficult for me to pronounce, but I did my best.
I got a guy.
Yeah, yeah, I'm glad to have help with my friends who help me explain those holidays and how cool those can be as well. And then, of course, Islamic holidays like Ramadan and Eid. And so I tend to
Also have a
learn.
guy for that.
Funny enough, I tend to learn about that by listening to what the wrestlers are up to. So Sami Zayn, whenever they talked about how he had to fast for the
Yep.
whole like from sun up to sundown, and how hard it would be to wrestle, and he wrestled the main event while during Ramadan, like while fasting. So that was pretty impressive. So and then of course we have Hindu religions as well. Crystal says Freddie Mercury's b-day was no, his birthday was not today. His birthday is September 5th. So, but yes, so I do celebrate rock star birthdays. I don't know what rock star was born today, but I can of course tell you that Elvis Presley was born January 8th, as was David Bowie. So yeah, I tend to know a ridiculous number of rock star birthdays. I can name all of the all of the birthdays of the Beatles as well as years, all that stuff too. But yeah, we can always get into that a little later. So Hindu religion has some really cool things. They have something called Diwali, if I say it correctly, and it's a festival of lights. And then, of course, they also have Holi, which is the one that's leading into spring, and it's a festival of color. And so they throw color powder at each other, full color water at each other, and it's a very bright and festive holiday, and sometimes kind of messy. And Crystal said, "Oh, okay. I thought I heard something on the radio today that he'd be 80." Hang on, let me math it. I think that's the right year, but it's not the right day. So
Hindi is the one that I don't
mm.
have.
You don't have a Hindi
I don't have
friend
a Hindi
to be able to
guy
talk?
or a Buddhist
No,
guy.
and I
Not
have that
anymore. I
listed.
used to have a Buddhist guy, but I don't have a
Really?
Buddhist guy
Yeah,
anymore.
and I don't either. I'm just always kind of trying to learn. So there are a couple of Buddhist holidays. There are
So
called.
if one of you is, I could
Please
use
let
one.
us know.
I could
Yes,
use
we
a
could
Hindi
lose.
guy
We
and a
could
Buddhist
use the
guy.
expertise for sure. And so Buddhist holidays such as Vesak, Bodhi, and Nirvana. And so Vesak was Buddha's birthday. Bodhi was when he achieved enlightenment. And that's actually on my birthday, December 8th. I didn't know. As I was studying, I
I
learned that.
didn't
And
know.
then when he reached nirvana, which would be the day his physical body died. So, yeah. So, and maybe you could call that Nirvana. They call it Nirvana Day, but maybe Nirvana Day is Kurt Cobain's birthday. I'm not sure. And
Yeah.
I don't remember. That's one I don't have down. I don't have it memorized. Dave Grohl, I think, is in January 19th, maybe? I don't know. Somebody test me and tell me if I'm right or wrong. Totally fine.
I don't know
Hey,
when
could
my
you turn
birthday
the
is.
fan off for me? It might be making some noise. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's nice to have additional help. And so, like I mentioned, many of these holidays are not based on our regular. What are we in? This is the Julian calendar that we follow now.
Gregorian.
We're in the
Gregorian
Gregorian.
now.
There used to be the Julian calendar. There's
That's
of
right.
course the Chinese calendar. There's so many other. There's a Jewish calendar.
Well,
There's
yeah,
so many of them.
that's lunar versus solar.
There you go.
So we're in a solar calendar. The Jewish faith uses a lunar calendar, which is why Easter wonks around an awful lot, is
Mm-hmm.
because it's based off the Jewish calendar, which is lunar,
Mm-hmm.
and thus.
Crystal's got us covered. February
Yep.
20th, 1967, Kurt Cobain. It's almost like she's Screamer Dreamer medication information for Julia Pop. Yeah, she definitely comes in clutch quite often. And so what I also mentioned is so these are based on different calendars, so certain ones might not fall on the same day, like you said. And then also we
They do
tend
fall
to
on the same day,
they
just not on this calendar.
Right. And so they're not on the same day number that we are familiar with. Yep. So, and then like I mentioned before, we would take pagan holidays, which were around the sun and the moon. And, and oftentimes pagan holidays were celebrating the seasons, the beginnings, the middles, the ends of all the different seasons. And so things like Samhain, and I never say the names right, but I try, Imbolc. Yeah, there's just a whole bunch of those that I didn't even mention, but they, of course, we were celebrating Saturnalia during the time that we now celebrate Christmas and doing many of the same things. And so now, one of the things I wanted to find out a little bit more about was federal holidays versus national holidays. There really is a difference.
United States.
National holidays. So, yes, we are
Well,
being
the
United States
federal
centric.
government.
We're being United States centric with this next section. So, the United States has 11 federal holidays, and I'm going to rattle them off. New Year's, MLK Day, MLK Jr. Day, sorry. Washington's,
Doctor.
I know. Yeah, that's right. Washington's birthday, Memorial Day, Juneteenth, Independence Day, Labor Day, Columbus Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Now, banks tend to close on these days not because they're federal institutions, which we talked about, but because they rely on the Federal Reserve for their information, for deposits and withdrawals and all that kind of stuff. And so since the Federal Reserve is closed, oh, hey, Linda, it's good to see you. She says, late but here. Thank you, and welcome. And so that's why the banks close, is because not because they're federal, but because they rely on the Federal Reserve and they're the ones that are closed. So just so you know. Now, other holidays are national holidays, so it's a popular cultural observance. Oftentimes, government will proclaim that day, but they won't necessarily make everybody take the day off.
It's not a holiday.
Right, and so one of the ones everybody seems to know and doesn't realize is not a federal holiday is Flag Day. So Flag Day happens on June 14th, and it is a recommended or a proclaimed holiday, but it is not a federal holiday where everything closes. So, yes, here we are. Stephen is here to help. My Japanese wife, this is important, and I have a very interesting birthday combinations. Her birthday is July 4th, celebration of America's independence. My birthday is August 6th, the day we bombed Japan. Yeah. So, as a December 8th baby, which was the day that the U.S. declared war back in 1941, I get it. Yep. It's always a tricky time to be born on a very difficult date. But I do find that very interesting, and I'm really glad that you shared that with us, Stephen. So that's definitely a juxtaposition. So, and then oftentimes we have certain holidays that we think of as Hallmark holidays. Now, I do have a few things that people thought that I actually originally thought that certain holidays were started by Hallmark and certain were other holidays that they kind of co-opted so they could make it more commercialized. And so we'll talk a little bit about the Hallmark holiday. And what we mean by Hallmark holiday is that it's seen as being over commercialized. So we can talk a lot about how Christmas, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's, there's so many, Mother's Day, Father's Day. Exactly. It's like, do we even know what we're celebrating on that day? I know you do. But not everybody else, everybody thinks that it's Mexico's Independence Day, and it is not. No, it is not.
Not exactly. Anyway.
Yes and no. It is an important
day.
There
is a Mexican Independence Day that is absolutely not Cinco de Mayo.
That's right. But Cinco de Mayo has its level of importance because of winning a battle during that time period, or on that day. So I've got this split up to where we'll talk a little bit about the classic holidays and just kind of do a little run through, and then some of the odd ones. So the classics, of course, and we'll just kind of run our January to December with these. Right. We have New Year's Day. It's January 1st, and of course, would I even be doing this right if I didn't bring out my collection of crap? So I do have a Happy New Year, little cheap, very cheap. The thing is falling apart. And so it's January 1st. And like I mentioned before, we are in the Gregorian calendar.
The only time that mattered at all, by the way.
Yeah.
So they reset some days. So there's some days that never
existed. There's like, about
history?
A dozen days that didn't exist because of switching?
Yeah. So when they reset it, there were just some days they're just like, and we're throwing these out. And so the only time that it ever actually mattered in the history of the world thus far is February 29th, 2000. Which is part of the Y2K scare, is because the difference between the Julian and Gregorian is every 400 years we put February leap day back in. So the rule is for both of them, if it's divisible by 4.
Jimmy, I need to make sure that I acknowledge your comment. Welcome, first of all. He says, I celebrate all the drinking holidays. And isn't New Year's one of them? Yes, you drink the shit.
All days are drinking holidays.
So every day is a holiday.
That's
I said that in the byline.
Yeah, so. Every 4 years, if it's divisible by 4, it's a leap year. So you put February 29th in, unless it's divisible by 100,
and
in which case you take it back out. So 2100 will be not a leap year, even though it's divisible by 4.
It's the whole thing.
Unless it's divisible also by 400, both 100 and 4, and then
it comes back
in.
Yeah,
and since they didn't implement Gregorian calendar until after 1600, that was the last time
it didn't count until 2000.
Exactly.
It didn't start counting until 2000.
So
what a mess.
Put that all on us.
Yeah, clearly. But at least, it's not.
Damn Dr. John D.
Is he the one to blame for all this?
He's one of them.
Oh my!
Sure,
and you perform as him. I got it. Okay, so that's our little New Year's get together, and of course we don't just have our normal our U.S. calendar year. We also have a Chinese New Year, which happens usually a little bit after our New Year that we know.
It's always after.
Is it? Okay.
It's always after.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so
I play a Chinese video game, and so they always do a little
celebration
kind
of thing.
Chinese,
Nice.
yeah.
And so, of course, like I said, those changes are based on it being is that a more lunar calendar then that they go by? Okay, gotcha.
It's most of them that were agricultural in nature were lunar versus solar.
And so, of course, then every year as it turns around, there's the year of the horse, the year of the pig, the year of the rat.
Which one was first?
I don't remember.
The year of the rat.
Good. And you're a rat.
I am.
I'm a rooster. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And of course, my daughter is a tiger. She's a kitty cat. So, all right. And so then we
Your
scoot.
boy is a rat with me.
That's right. Yeah. And
And
then
my
my
s-
daughter is, my oldest daughter is a rooster
Yep.
with me.
And my son was pig.
Pig. Yep. I love it. I love it. Very cute. And so, next up, of course, in January, we have Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So, of course, that is celebrating some very important events that happened over the years in the United States. We move forward to a far more ridiculous holiday, Groundhog Day, February 2nd. Of course, Crystal's a monkey. She's already
Yeah,
she's
yeah. But
listening to
what
her son.
Chinese?
No, that's
character-
what
oh.
it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, gotcha. So, and of course, we jump ahead to a different animal, Groundhog Day. We love the movie, of course. Cat is a rat.
See,
that's
cat's with me.
adorable. I love that. That's
So we
awesome.
move on to Groundhog's Day.
Yeah. So, and we move on to
Groundhog's
Groundhog's Day.
So
And we move on. I do love that movie. I think Bill Murray in the movie Groundhog Day is fabulous. And of course, Punxsutawney Phil sees his shadow. That's a very American holiday, isn't it? And so it's just like who, and I didn't really study up on that one to find out who put it together, everything that happened. But of
Phil.
course, it's one of the ridiculous ones, but it's become one of the classics. So, and then of course, we have our first that we're going to talk about Catholic feast or Saint Feast Day, and that is St. Valentine's Day on February 14th. It was celebrating St. Valentine's. And then it started out as being a religious feast, but then it started to develop romantic connotations. And so the romantic connotations then became very commercialized, and we've got candy and flowers.
Actually, a little bit.
Did it start not as a religious feast first? Do tell.
So the reason it became the heart bit is actually from old pagan stuff. So they
Okay,
co-opted
go
a
on.
day and put St. Valentine's Day on it, and so that's why there's the love and heart that go along with it. Actually,
Okay. All right. Well, see, I knew you'd be very helpful with all of this. And then, of course, we have what I am dressed for. I am dressed for St. Patrick's Day, which is March 17th, which is coming up next week.
I will be in the Kansas City parade.
That's right. So he is going to be helping out Kansas City Renaissance Festival by being in the parade on that day. I am not. I've been advised by my doctors not to parade. So I do have my limitations, and I'm trying to adhere to them. And then, of course,
I've been advised by Kansas City mayor that he doesn't want me in it, but it doesn't matter. I'm going anyway.
I don't remember that. But okay.
It's a
All
letter.
right. Oh, really?
Court order.
I wasn't aware of that. All right. And so, of course, St. Patrick's Day is the link to Irish American pride. So even though it is a saint's feast day, and of course, St. Patrick is the patron saint of Ireland. If you ever go to Ireland for St. Patrick's Day, at least up until recently, they didn't celebrate it the way that we do in America, because the American celebration is very being proud of your Irish heritage. And so it gets celebrated very heavily in places where there is a lot of Irish diaspora, which would be Boston, Chicago, plenty of other cities where that happens. And then, of course, here in Missouri, we've got somehow there's a lot of representation with Rolla,
Because
a
the
lot of
railroad.
representation in Kansas City. So the
came
railroad
through
brought
here, and
Irish
the
immigrants
Irish
over.
Worked
Yep.
on it, and then they
Mhm.
kind of cast them out right around Kansas City.
Yep, because you're meeting in the middle, and then
Yep.
of course you can just kind of trail all that. And so for a lot of people, often it is that trace back to Irish American pride. So with that in mind,
Well, I'm down for White's Day there in Japan. You'll have to let me know, and then I'll leave by the Valentine when I have to give
how am I
stuff.
looking? Is it good? Does it suit me?
It is as commercial.
Yeah,
as you
so
could
it is
possibly get.
totally
you look
commercial,
Like you
so-
should be drinking a green beer. Right now.
Exactly. And so I have a pet peeve with green beer, and you got to forgive me. I found this for like $2 at the thrift shop, so of course I bought it really for the ridiculousness. I'm not sure I would actually wear it to a St. Patrick's celebration, because when I'm celebrating St. Patrick's, I switch between 3 beers. I drink a Harp, I drink a Smittix, I drink a Guinness, and then I repeat. Harp, Smittix, Guinness, all until I'm done drinking, and I don't like green beer. I once asked for a Harp at an Irish pub in Texas, and they put a green liquid in front of me, and I kind of shuddered a bit, and I was like,
And
what's
it was
going
at
on?
An Irish pub.
It was, but
Very,
it was
very
it was
Irish pub.
about a month or so after St. Patrick's, and like, oh yeah, sorry, it's still
McAllister,
green, and
right?
I'm
That
like,
was the name of the
yeah,
pub?
or it was McKinney. It's in McKinney,
that's
and I don't remember the name of the pub itself. I don't think it was called
It's right
McAllister.
off the square though.
It was really
McKinney
great.
is a really
Oh, and
nice
it was a
place.
great pub. I got to hobnob and talk about like music. We had a really great NXS conversation. Weirdly,
Yeah.
that was a very good time. So Steven says Japan divides Valentine's.
That's what I said.
They have White's Day, which women give chocolate to guys, and Valentine's, which is for men to give to a girl. See, we're learning so much. I love that we're learning all of this. So, like I said, I'm wearing my ridiculous, very commercialized St. Patrick's hat. I'm hoping that some of you guys have ridiculous stuff as well. And then, of course, we skip a little bit further and we go to Easter, which of course is on the liturgical calendar. And Easter, the build up to Easter, when you're in the Christian faith, has a lot of stuff leading up to it because you go into because you have Fat Tuesday, which is kind of your last day before Lent, which is why Mardi Gras gets celebrated the way it does, because it's supposed to be revelry and just really, eating, drinking, doing all kinds of stuff, because on Ash Wednesday, it's the beginning of Lent, and you want to, keep those things away from yourself. You want to find something to give up oftentimes. And so it's about sacrifice and being aware of that. And so it's 40 days, is that correct?
Yeah.
Of Lent. So you have your 40 days of Lent, and then it leads up into an entire Holy Week of services. So what does Monday, is it just Holy Monday, or?
Yeah, I think.
Because I know that the Thursday before is Maundy Thursday.
Thursday.
And what does Maundy mean? Do you know what that? It's something about being holy, right? So, and Crystal says I win on the ridiculousness. Thank you. I'm very proud that I won.
Maundy Thursday is a very
somber day.
Yeah.
Okay, and then of course it's Good Friday, Holy Saturday, and then of course Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday. Very nice. Kind of like that radio show that, does it still happen? I don't know. Resurrection Sunday? No?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We're Kansas City people. That's why.
Right.
We remember those things. Yeah, there we go. Now you got it. All right, and so we push forward into May. And if there's anything I've forgotten, feel free to bring it up. Feel free to chime in. I'm just kind of skipping the high points. So, of course, in May, we have May the 5th, which is Cinco de Mayo.
Which, of course, is
Spanish for
Cinco of Mayo.
And of course, all the jokes about people putting, Miracle Whip in the sink, which is a mayo. But anyway, and so it was not the Independence Day of Mexico like everybody thinks. Crystal mentioned Ash Wednesday. Yes, absolutely. That is part of that whole entire. Oh, and Palm Sunday. How could I forget? Yep, you get the ashes on your forehead, and then Palm Sunday.
Palm Sunday's later.
Yep, and that's like the week before.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
It's during Holy Week.
Yep. So it's part of the Holy Week celebrations. So, and then, of course, back to Cinco de Mayo, that was not Independence Day for Mexico. It was an important military defeat instead. So now one of the other more highly commercialized holidays that most people think is a Hallmark holiday. It is, but it didn't start out that way, which I just recently found out. Mother's Day. So it was started by a woman by the name of Anna Jarvis, and she wanted it as a Sunday church holiday, and she started it in 1908. And so they ended up establishing it as the second Sunday in May. And she was all about trying to get the entire country and even the entire world to celebrate mothers on this specific day. And it didn't take but a couple of years before they started commercializing it. And by they, I mean card companies and all those other, chocolate companies. Anything that you buy for mom on that holiday, everybody started trying to sell it. Well, she got mad. Anna Jarvis got angry. She also fought for suffrage for women. That's votes for women. And she was a crusader for all of these different rights. But she got mad that it was being commercialized. And she went and protested outside of either one of the card companies or one of the chocolate companies and got arrested because she was yelling and screaming, saying they had ruined her holiday. And so she fought her whole entire life to make Mother's Day, and she even got it. Of course, and she got it. She actually trademarked the title Mother's Day, second Sunday of May for mothers. I don't remember, but she trademarked a phrase for that particular holiday. And then Linda, of course, we can. So Kat mentions that I believe Mexican Independence Day is in September. So thank you for that information. I did not have that pulled up. And Linda said Cinco de Mayo was when Mexico beat the French in Pueblo. There you go. See, she had the details.
I actually knew that.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
We didn't get that far.
Yeah, I got extra bonus points from La Señora Rolanda.
Did you take Spanish class from her then? Okay, I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess you did.
2 years
All right.
worth of.
See, I didn't take any foreign language in school, and this is why I'm paying for it still to this very day. Yeah. Oh, gotcha. And then, of course, with Mother's Day, we also had Father's Day. So Father's Day, another lady by the name of Sonora Smart Dodd, decided, hey, we've got Mother's Day. How about Father's Day? I have a father who raised me without my mom being alive, so I would like to celebrate him in 1910, and it was the third Sunday in June. And then, of course, there was and the interesting thing with that, on that commercialization, she wasn't afraid to commercialize it, even though it started in the church. There was something called the Father's Day Council, and the Father's Day Council was filled with guys who owned menswear companies and pipe companies and tobacco companies, all of those things. And they're like, yeah, let's all get together, tie companies. And so they were a little less afraid to get out there and have it not only be a Sunday celebration, a church celebration, but also have it be commercialized. So yes. So Linda says September 16th, her birthday. See Kat and Linda working together. It all comes together. Yep, I love it. So then, of course, also in June, we have the federal holiday we mentioned, which was Juneteenth, which is June 19th. That was the Emancipation Proclamation enforced in Texas. So because the thing is, it's not one set date. There's always,
Well,
Lincoln announced it. Later on, they put it
Emancipation
into place,
Proclamation
and yeah.
didn't apply to Texas.
Yes, at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was the point of getting it to where everything was now being enforced, and it took time because it had to be, Lincoln declared it. They voted it through
Well,
Congress.
Lincoln
They
did-
got
Lincoln
reunited. There was
declared
so
it.
much.
That Lincoln declared it, and he only freed the slaves in the Confederate states. So
He had to finish.
slave states that were still in the Union actually were still slave states.
Yeah,
And
so
Texas
so
was
they
one of
had.
those that never quite.
Mhm.
It was in both.
Yeah,
kind of,
so it took them time to write the whole thing, and so that was the last one. And so the churches
Wasn't
were
even
so.
the last one, but yeah.
But the churches, it was the last one where they said it out loud as to making sure it happened. That's a whole other story and a whole other set of decades, centuries long problems that have obviously
Well, and
we've had
Juneteenth
here.
started in Texas.
Yes, and
which
so
just makes all the sense in the world.
yeah,
that
and so the
that's where they
churches
would set it,
started
yeah.
celebrating it. So it happened in 1865, and they've started celebrating it the following year. Their gratitude and praising God for everything, and that was where that particular one came from. And then, of course, most American holidays of all, if you ask me, we've got Independence Day, USA, July 4th. And so the other countries have their own Independence Days, like we just talked about. Mexico, Canada, there's all different
Ours
places
is the
that have
best,
that.
though, because we celebrate our country by blowing up a little piece of it.
Yeah, and and we also like to wear really ridiculous red, white, and blue things. Yeah. So, and then of course I have no idea how this is going to affect the lighting or anything, but I'm at least going to put it on. So yeah, I feel somehow a little more American. How about
I'm
you?
the bars.
You're the stars. I'm the stars, and you're the bars. That's
I'd rather
cute.
be the bars.
That's cute.
The bar.
The bar. So of
Oh,
course,
no, you're gonna leave
yet
me
another.
hanging.
What? Oh, we are the
You're
bar.
the bar.
Sorry, I can't see anything in these glasses. Like it's a lot. So, but I at least wanted to, like I said, I got a lot of ridiculous stuff. Oh, hey, it is
With
lighting up
pollution, that's
after all that. So yeah, so yeah, the 4th of July, like I said, we do a lot of ridiculous things. We set things on fire, including we grill out, we set rockets ablaze.
And of course, this one is the 250.
Yes, indeed. This year's 250. So Kat has given us applause for our wonderful outfits that we put together. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And so, yeah, and like I said, all of those fireworks and everything does leave a good bit of smoke and pollution all over wherever we go. So, America. But like I said, it's one of those where we have the country's in a very difficult place, and sometimes you get frustrated. But like to be able to celebrate that we have freedom, and I want us to keep having freedom and more and enough, And so I keep celebrating because it's still my place, and I want it to be better. So that's my thing. All right, I'll get out of that. Keep it light. So back to Labor Day. So Labor Day is another one of the big holidays. It's the first Monday in September, and of course it is the Labor Day for here in the U.S. Now there are others worldwide, and so
most
UK has a Labor Day that's
most
different time. Australia has one.
Most countries have
yeah.
a Labor Day sometimes.
Yeah. So, but they don't always sit
No,
in the on the same day that ours do.
Day.
Exactly. So, and Remembrance Day is very similar to that, and we'll get to that one as well. So, so Steven says making firework companies across America rich off of buy one get one free fireworks, free quote unquote, right? Yeah. So definitely, what's more American than that? Yeah. So, all right, and so then we skip ahead to another holiday that's difficult and fraught with some other. There's problems here, and that would be Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day. It originally started from, they trace it back to October 12th in 1492 in the Bahamas when Christopher Columbus managed to make his way to the New World. Of course, he went for a very long time thinking that it was the West Indies and not a New World entirely, but it was the New World. They first brought it into celebrations um, 300 years after the fact. In 1792, in New York and Baltimore, they erected a statue and were like, hey, here's this great explorer. We're going to recognize that. And then eventually they moved it to the second Monday in October. And so, again, that became a federal holiday, a day that the banks get to take their day off. And it only became a movement to make it a federal holiday in 1966. And it took from 1966 into 1971. And the person who really pushed, or one of the main people that really pushed, was an Italian American. And so what had happened was the Italian Americans were discriminated against quite a bit, as were Irish. There were others.
This is true with a lot of the holidays we have. Cinco de Mayo and St. Patrick's Day and Columbus Day were more to try to get people together because there were some really persecuted people out there. The Irish, when they first got here, were very persecuted against, and so it was an attempt to try to overcome that. And of course, the Italians, because of World War II, were very
and so at a time, then they were in internment camps for a while because they were worried that they would ally themselves with Italy, which at the time was an Axis power. That was a concern, and so Franklin Delano Roosevelt actually did a declaration of Columbus Day and also wanted it to be an Italian American celebration. And so that was the goal. And the thing is it's very fraught with some racist problems because
he was a horrible human. Really?
Was he?
Columbus? Yeah.
No, I thought you were talking about Roosevelt. I'm like, what?
No.
So, but that's the thing is like the
Columbus was a pretty unilaterally horrible human.
Yeah, I think that it can be very well established. So we have a problematic person that we've named it after that we kind of had, swept some things under the rug that really should not have been swept under the rug about him. And then we had that combination of not only that, but it created a huge change in what happens here. Like this land didn't belong. And then they came over, manifest destiny the crap out of it, and it's a very different life, of course. So so the thing is there's the point is, and what we want to do is try to celebrate everyone, and that's what I want the holidays to be. And so I'm perfectly happy to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day because there's some really cool people as well. I wish there had been a better person we could have found to celebrate Italian Americans.
My particular family has much stronger ties to the indigenous people than they do.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, there's not really any Italian in us, but because we come from frontiers people, there's a lot of intertwining with indigenous.
So, and the interesting thing is about that is that the rest of North America and South America, lots of different companies or countries celebrate Columbus, or they have changed it to Indigenous Peoples Day, and one of them calls it Dia de la Raza. And I kind of know what that means because Viva la Raza from wrestling. I know things from wrestling, and so it is Raza, Dia de la Raza. There it is. I got it. And so all across the Americas, and so then some people even call it I hope I say this right, pluricultural. When they made it everything, when the cultures blended, mixed, and became what we have before us now. So, figuring out ways to live in peace, to get along, to make it through this world. So, skip ahead to one of my favorite holidays. Of course, we have Halloween. No, we already
passed it. Didn't even mention it.
You poor thing. I mean, you could have brought it up. You're noisy. So Inger says, first of all, welcome. Leif Erikson Day is October 9th. See, that'd be a cool one. And then that one you can celebrate Scandinavian heritage that way. That's a cool way to do that. I like that a lot. And so, like I mentioned, Halloween being one of our favorite holidays around here. Of course, I have some ridiculous little stuffies. And so here's my cute little my little vampire. I'm sure the light is affecting him, and he's got a little blood thing there. It's a little AB negative blood bag. And then, of course, I had to have my little werewolf too. And what is he doing? He's hugging the full moon because it made him into a werewolf. I love it. freaking good. And so Steven says, let's not forget the most important holiday of all, Tartan Day on April 6th. Did you know about Tartan Day?
It's another one of those made up holidays. It's not a
I
real
know, but
thing.
that's part of the fun is all of these one. And so Crystal says Halloween is year round in her home decor. Can confirm. And so, of course, they have more ridiculous things. Whenever you went to Sonic, you had little Halloween based happy wacky packs. And I have a ghost and a pirate because Talk Like a Pirate Day is September 19th. How did I forget that one? Oh yeah, it's in the ridiculous ones. And then I have a cute little a little guy that's looking like a mummy. So of course, Kat's favorite is Halloween #1. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Halloween as well. I might like
Which
Christmas a little
started
bit better.
from,
Which started from Samhain celebrations.
which
What else?
is
All Hallows
the
Eve.
Celts.
Oh yeah, so
Started
yeah,
with the
so I'm
Celts.
I'm talking about Celtic pagan traditions, then aren't I? Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So
But I
oh,
work.
look. So we've been provided with a link. So those of you that feel free to
There
click
we go.
it, it is scotland.org and it is events and it is Tartan Day and it is April 6th. That is that one. So we'll definitely do a little bit of study up on that. And so,
But so I work for some English people, and they were talking about, well, it was around Halloween, and they're like, who first did jack-o'-lanterns? It was us English, and I'm like,
oh,
you're a liar. It
oh,
was the Celts. It was the
oh,
Welsh,
so
and
they're
it was
taking
yeah,
Celtic
yeah. I'm
credit.
like, dude, you can't just keep taking over all the Celt stuff just because you're
Aha,
English. That's
aha.
not how that
And of
works.
course, Halloween was sort of taken over with a little bit of churchiness because it was All Hallows Eve because the following day, November 1st, is All Saints Day. And those of you that watch the show, the movie Book of Life, knew about that as well. And so I got a Dia de los Muertos headpiece here. Hopefully, there we go. I'm sure it looks wildly ridiculous, but I gotta do ridiculous stuff. Zero miedo. Yes, absolutely. Um, and then from here, we go to a much more somber holiday, which was Veterans Day, Remembrance Day. So after World War One reached its armistice on November 11th, and so in UK they call it Remembrance Day. Here in the States, we call it Veterans Day, and so there are many countries that celebrate right around that same time because it had been such a terrible
Almost
war.
all countries, especially European, have a Veterans Day, whether it is that one because of the
Mhm.
significance
Oh
of
yeah.
World War
So
II.
so Inger makes a perfect point about jack-o'-lanterns. It wasn't pumpkins, it was
That's right.
beets or rutabagas. And so like they were
Or
smaller.
squash, but it was all those weird
Gourds,
shapes.
that
It
kind
was
of thing.
gourds in
Gotcha.
general. Yep.
Gotcha. So and then Kat's birthday, worthy of celebration, is November 1st. So also Dia de los Muertos. And then Crystal mentions one of my crazy holidays, which we're almost to, Rex Manning Day. It is coming up. That is April 8th. Yes. So of course we know that, and we
Not
watched the
today.
movie. No,
Not on
we
Rex
mustn't.
Manning
We
Day.
mustn't dwell. Not today. Not on Rex Manning Day. No, and we'll get to that. Promise. So then, of course, in the UK, and then sometimes here in the States, you would wear the red poppy. So the red poppy often is a symbol of the remembrance of all of those people that had been lost in World War One, and then have since been lost in other wars. And so, if you go to the World War One museum in Kansas City, you get to
The
find out
only
about
World
all
War
of them.
One museum in the United States.
Is that right?
Yep.
That's cool. I love that. I didn't
At
know that,
least
but
it
it's
used to be.
amazing.
I'm
I
not
went
sure
there,
it's
and
still.
it's eye opening and awesome.
Fantastic.
And then
Yeah.
Inger brings it up. Gourds, what I was just talking about, came from the Americas. What? Because rutabagas and the other
Mhm.
ones that she said, those were British or not British, Celtic, British Isles
Yep.
type stuff. Yeah. So, and I think gourds did right? I don't know. I'm gonna have to do more research. I gotta find out more. I only covered holidays. I didn't get into vegetables nearly as much as you and Inger are getting into. So sorry. And then of course we've got to get ourselves to Thanksgiving. I'm totally stealing your glasses because I only got one thing. But of course Thanksgiving, which was the holiday where again this is one of those where we go back to trying to remember when the pilgrims came over and were trying to make peace with the indigenous people and had their
Right.
meal. And then, of course, we all know that that took a turn. But what Thanksgiving has become, it's the fourth Thursday in November. There was a lot of back and forth on figuring out which day it was supposed to be, but eventually they figured it out. And and really anymore, Thanksgiving is just about being more about being thankful for who you are, what you have, your family, your friends,
Again,
everything that goes with that.
another one of those that lots of countries have, and they don't have
But they have it at
pilgrims.
different. But they have
Yeah,
it at
yeah,
a
they have
different
them at
time.
different
And
times, and
this
it's
is the
just
one.
for being thing.
Yeah, and this is the one that's turned into. It's a family get together, a chance for everybody to get together, to eat, to be thankful for each other.
For me
And
to
so
cook for 20 hours.
I hey, I didn't really push you into that.
I'm
You seem
dude,
to be
I'm
happy
happy
with.
for it.
That's
I
what I
enjoy it.
thought. That's
I enjoy
exactly
it.
what I thought. So then, of course, we go into the Christmas season. Of course, we've got Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day. How we mentioned not that kind of boxing. So Boxing Day is what happens more over in UK, and what happens
Canada.
is at Canada does it as well.
Big,
So,
big
what Boxing Day is all of the donation money that the churches have. They have a donation box, and the Boxing Day is opening the box to give the alms to the poor. And so that's what that Boxing Day is. But usually for people in UK and Canada, it's just an extra day off for them. So, and then Kat says, and shopping. Yes, Christmas shopping is a big deal. We talk about how one of the most commercialized holidays would be Christmas. But yeah, the shopping is a lot of fun. And the decorating, of course, I usually have this place decorated for about 6 weeks or so. And yeah, Christmas threw up in this house. And I decorate for a lot of the holidays. Like right now, I've got a whole bunch of St. Patrick's kind of stuff all around the house. I
The
decorate.
lights outside are
They
orange,
are.
white, and green.
That's right. He set up the porch lights so that they would be all the colors of the
Italian. Oh yeah.
no,
yeah.
Italian is red, white, and green. This one is orange, white, and green. So we have that, and then like I said, when a holiday comes around, I do love to decorate. So after St. Patrick's, we'll go into Easter, and I really enjoy doing it that way. So then, of course, we have some kind of after end of the year holidays and other holidays that have been created, like Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa was created in 1966, so that those people of African American culture would feel feel their community, feel connected to their community. And so Kat says, same, decorate for all the holidays. Yep, you and me, high five from far away, indeed. And so Kwanzaa is an interesting one because it's not just one day, it's actually 8 days. It's 8 days? Yeah. So it's 8 full days. And it lasts all the
Christmas
way
is
back
12.
to, that's true, and it lasts all the way back to the New Year. So, yes, side note on the 12 days of Christmas. When I was growing up, I didn't grow up in a liturgical church. I just knew Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, that was it. I didn't realize that Christmas Day was the first day of Christmas.
That's right.
And then it goes all the way to January 6th.
Yep.
Which is the 12th day of Christmas, which was 12th night, which is Shakespeare, if you know that. So, and then Steven says, should we count the fake Patty's Day phenomenon? No. Okay, now I'm distracted. The fake Patty's Day phenomenon? Do I know what that means? All right, we're gonna have to get a bit more description from you. Give us the Cliff's notes on what that is.
I don't know what Patty's Day is. P-A-T-T.
Oh, okay.
I don't
So
know what that is at all. What are you talking about?
you're such a stickler for spelling. I get this. So whenever
it's
you're
not spelling, it is cultural.
okay, whenever you're talking about St. Patrick's Day, you have ways to spell it. You spell it all the way out, St. Patrick's Day, or if you nickname it, you turn it to St. Paddy's, and whenever you contract the boy's name from Patrick to Paddy, it's P-A-D-D-Y, St. Paddy apostrophe S. Or if you shorten it even more, you go to St. Pat's, and then it's P-A-T apostrophe S. It's a whole complicated thing. What is it?
I like complicated things.
I know you do. What is it
So
with
do
the
you,
English language?
evidently.
Well, true. So, but anyway, yeah, 12 Days of Christmas starts on Christmas Day and
right.
keeps going. So I do keep my Christmas
So for
stuff up
all you
that whole
people
time.
that shame people for not getting their Christmas decorations down
On the
around New
26th?
Year's, you're wrong.
You got
You're
5
just
more days.
wrong.
You've got 5
You're
more.
pulling them down. They get them up like in October, and then they pull them down early. It drives me batty.
Yeah, and I do at least wait until Santa Claus shows up on my TV at the Macy's Day Parade before I even think about Christmas decks. Like, I'll at least keep the Thanksgiving up and then decorate later. And so, oh, okay, Inger's got it. Fake St. Patty's Day. College celebrations on the Saturday before St. Patrick's so that they have a second night of stupid. Okay.
Oh, well,
All right. Well,
hang on. So that's Snake Saturday. The Saturday before St. Patrick's Day.
oh, but they don't
is
celebrate it
Snake
like
Saturday.
Snake Saturday. They celebrate it
That's
like
what
they
it is.
drink more.
Well, yeah, you drink a lot on Snake Saturday.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, now I understand. I get it now. Yeah, people just want to keep drinking, and don't get me wrong. I've gone a week of drinking leading up to St. Patrick's, and then Crystal says that's
See,
why you married
mom's
Julia.
with me.
So, and then so
You see where I get it.
Stevens with Inger as well. I know. And says a lot of colleges get out a week before the official holiday, so college kids or close downtowns around college communities to celebrate fake St. Patty's Day. Okay,
got
I
you.
get that
Got
part
you.
then. So Snake Saturday being one thing,
And then,
and then Linda
it,
says that
I
too.
believe if it is fake St. Patty's Day, you're allowed to TTY that because it's so fake anyway.
I don't know.
It just feeds right into it.
I don't know. I guess. So Jeremy brings up starts on Christmas Day. I'm so done by the end of Christmas. Yeah, because we start so early. No, you're right.
That's on
and
you.
but
Pace
celebrate
yourself, Jeremy. Pace yourself.
but celebrate however you want to. If you want to take that stuff down on the 26th,
Yeah,
go
if you
right
wanna
ahead. I'm not
celebrate
here to stop
wrong,
you.
You celebrate wrong.
Stephen will judge you, but I will
wouldn't.
not. I will not judge you in the slightest. Now, we've talked about all the classic holidays. We got about 15 minutes to talk about the weird ones, and we've got a bunch. Now, a lot of people recognize these because of the Google Doodle. Google is very eponymous, right? It's everywhere you look, and they'll post something and like, what's that? You click on it. Hey, guess what? It's National Donut Day. and Inger says,
See?
that's part of the point.
Exactly.
Yeah. See, I love that. And so I'm going to rattle off a few, some of which I might consider following, and some of which I'm definitely not going to follow. One would be Puzzle Day. I had no idea Puzzle Day existed. January 29th. There's another one called Work Naked Day, which I'm not going to celebrate, but it's February 6th. I don't know why you'd want to do that when it's that cold out. But
I work from home. I'll be fine.
yeah, I'm sure you will. Just don't answer a Zoom call. All right. And so Crystal said Branson starts before freaking Halloween drove me nuts. Yes, I used to give out Halloween candy with the Christmas tree just behind me. I didn't like it either. So then, of course, we have now here's a really long-winded
And
one.
she's missing a bunch. Just so you're
yeah.
aware.
Oh yeah, big time.
Feel free to throw some
Yes,
in.
throw
if
in
you know
ones
the
that
dates
you
in
know if you
particular.
know the date. Yeah. So Steven says, "Wait, what?" So, okay. So, yeah, Work Naked Day. I don't know if that was the one you were reacting to, but I have one that's really long-winded. It's not I looked for Dog Day and I finally found it. It's August 26th. And that is both National and International Day because the cat days, there's a National Cat Day and an International Cat Day. But back to what I was saying. International Dog Biscuit Appreciation Day. That's a lot. But it happens on February 23rd. And of course, we are celebrating today. It is Mario Day because it is MAR, abbreviation for March. 10 makes an I and an O, so it's Mario. And your favorite Pi Day, 3.14, which are the first three digits of pi, right?
159.
And he was even more excited in 2015.
Yeah.
Because that was 3.1415. Yeah.
So you'd have to go back to almost 1600.
Yeah, and apparently the cat says there might be a naked gardening day too. Inger says National Ice Cream Day on the 200th day of the year, July 19th. Yep, there it is. I have a whole list of food days, and there's a bunch of them listed. So that's amazing. I didn't know it was the 200th day of the year. I love that. And then Jeremy said, heard of the Garden Naked Day. That sounds worse than Naked Day. I agree. I don't want to do like any of those. Those are not the things I want to do.
I don't like to
while
get burnt on my
naked.
face.
No. Can you imagine what would happen? Like the sunburn. Oh my. Yes. Sunscreen. So we mentioned Rex Manning Day. That's based on a movie. So if you know the movie Empire Records, which is one of my all-time favorites, Rex Manning Day falls on April 8th. Yes, and there's a flyer on there that has Rex Manning, the kind of famous but now has-been guy, coming to a record store signing. So that's kind of the big thing that goes around that movie. It's one of my all-time favorites, and I love it. Haiku Day is April 17th. Batman Day is May 1st, but so is No Pants Day. I don't know why all this nakedness is standing out, but it is.
Batman doesn't wear pants.
Oh, he wears tights. And Crystal's like, midnight. How late are you open? Midnight. Yes. And so Star Wars Day, one of the classics, May the 4th be with you. So May the 4th is Star Wars Day. Apparently there's also a Lost Sock Memorial Day that happens on May 9th. I had no idea. And then one of my other favorite movies is Dazed and Confused, which takes place on May 28th, 1976. So every May 28th, I try to have some sort of celebration here, and we watch the movie. So those of you that want to watch that with us, let us know, and maybe we'll invite you over to the house. Oh, there we go. Inger found it for us. World Naked Gardening Day, Saturday, May 2nd, 2026.
Is it
Prepare
always
accordingly.
May 2nd, or is it always
I'm
the first
guessing.
Saturday of
I'm
May?
going to guess it's May 2nd
Could be
every
either
year.
one.
Oh, we'll find out. So
Find out for us, Ingrid.
one of your favorites is International Joke Day, July 1st. We have World UFO Day, July 2nd. Stephen, here we go. He says, okay, it makes sense now. Working Naked Day is celebrated on the first Friday in February. It takes place on February 5th this year, and it's not what you think it is. The name of the holiday is suggestive, but it's actually about working from home. Aha, the naked part is optional. Okay, I'm learning something new about holidays. I love it when you guys chime in and help me get all this figured out. Fantastic. Now, a little rundown of all the people in your neighborhood. Who are the people in your neighborhood? They all have a day dedicated to them. Yes, Kat has more to say. Naked gardening stood out to me because of my extreme allergy to poison ivy. It seems like it would be a horrific holiday to celebrate. I'm with you on that one.
And also had a horrific allergy to poison ivy. I'm wearing a comic book
I know, and
t-shirt.
I didn't write down when comic book day was. I'm sorry. All right, so the people in your neighborhood. Bosses Day, October 16th. Secretaries, which then became assistant professional day. Administrative Professionals Day, April 22nd. Doctors Day, March 30th. Nurse Day, May 6th. We have a Sibling Day on April 10th, but we also have Sisters Day on August 2nd and Brothers Day on May 24th. It seems like a lot. Son and Daughter Day, August the 11th. Why can't I have a birthday? Middle Child Day is August 12th. Left-Handers Day is August 13th. Grandparents is always the Sunday after Labor Day. National Cat Day is October 29th, but International Cat Day is August 8th. So why not celebrate my cat Ramon 2 days every year? It makes sense to me. Plus his birthday, which is February 1st. And then, of course, I mentioned Dog Day is August 26th. Now, we have Friendship Day. This is the one that I was able to find that actually was created by Hallmark. Joyce C. Hall, the guy who put Hallmark together, decided to designate Friendship Day on July 30th and Friendship Day so that they could sell cards. And so this one was specifically, thank you, Crystal. She comes through. September 25th is Comic Book Day. There you go.
Jokes on Hallmark.
are you
I
happy
have
now?
no friends.
Oh, Kat also says nurses and teacher shared the same day in May, I believe. So that would be May 6th. And Jeremy says free Comic Book Day is the same day as Garden Naked
Heck
Day.
yeah. That's how you get them
It's
free.
it's the holidays you care most about, right? Of course, we have hang on, I'm almost there. There we go. Thrift Shop Day, one of my favorites, August 17th. Pluto Demoted Day. We actually celebrate that day. That's a sad day.
You know, it's
August,
a sad day.
It is.
Yeah,
August
like
24th.
Remembrance Day.
It is. It is a Remembrance Day. Frankenstein Day, August 30th. Teddy Bear Day, September 9th. Hug Your Hound Day. I hope it counts with all dogs, but that is September 13th. One of my favorites, Talk Like a Pirate Day. My pirate's over there somewhere. And that is September 19th. I have no idea. It just said Punch Day when I was looking it up. Does that mean punch?
I don't know.
Or
but I'm
punch?
in. I'm
like,
in. I'm so in.
And that's September 20th. Now you know.
September
So
20th.
Balloons Around the World Day is
Forget this pension for green stuff.
Sounds scary. So Balloons Around the World Day is October 1st, so hot air balloons. And then Phileas Fogg Wager Day, which is from Around the World in 80 Days.
Oh, yeah.
So that's October 2nd.
Yeah.
Now, I Love Lucy Day doesn't fall on Lucy's birthday. It instead falls on the day that it premiered the show, which was October 15th. Your favorite, Fibonacci Day, November 23rd. Do you know why it's November 23rd?
1, 1, 2,
Yeah, that's
3,
the first
5.
digits, right?
I can
See?
keep going 8.
I know you can. I'm impressed
13.
with you. Fibonacci sequence. You celebrate the day on that.
Just a little
Yeah,
spirally thing.
it is.
My daughter has the tattoo of that.
That's right. And so your favorite Day of the Ninja is December 5th. I had no idea. And another one that
Nobody
falls.
does.
I know. Another one that falls on my birthday, Pretend to be a Time Traveler Day. Happens December 8th. Yep. So, all right. So Jeremy says, I'll be at Ren Fair on Naked Garden Day, so no fear of gardening naked. # layers. Thanks, Jeremy. I mean,
there's the garden in...
there is when you think of it. So, all right. And then we have Ugly Sweater Day, which is December 18th. We have International Dalek Remembrance Day because, of course, the doctor killed them off. What? Spoilers? On December 21st. And Festivus for the rest of us, December 23rd. If you watch Seinfeld, you know that George's father, Costanza's father, created that holiday. And so Inger says National Punch Day, the drink, punching bag, and honoring tools that make holes.
I'm a tool that makes holes.
Well, don't make holes in people. We can work that out. That would be
Don't judge me on my day.
That would be the helpful thing. Now we have a whole bunch of food days. Chocolate Cake Day, January 27th. Pretzel Day, April 26th. Hamburger Day, May 28th. Steven says, I'm on board for any Doctor Who holiday. Yep, I'm with you there. National Donut Day, one of my favorites, June 5th. Iced Tea Day, June 10th. Bourbon Day, June 14th. Onion Ring Day, June 22nd. Chocolate Pudding Day, June 26th. Ice Cream Day, we already talked about, July 19th. Junk Food Day, July 21st. They're just kind of all coming at me. International Beer Day, August 7th. International Coffee Day, October 1st. Taco Day, October 4th. Pierogi Day, October 8th. Candy Corn Day happens the day before Halloween, so October 30th.
Seems solid.
Deviled Eggs Day happens the day after Dia de los Muertos, which is November 2nd. Sandwich Day, November 3rd, and Eggnog Day, December 24th. So Inger says the Fae say no thanks to naked gardeners. All right, so if you're going to be doing any naked gardening, do not do it in the Fae forest, please and thank you. And I mentioned also that we did have some famous people's birthdays that get celebrated, like Elvis and David Bowie, both on January 8th. Roald Dahl, if you like his books, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and others, September 13th. And Saxophone Day is on November 6th. Do you know why? Because Adolf Sax was born on that day, and he was the creator of one of Stephen's favorite instruments, the saxophone. And then, of course,
one of.
it's the favorite.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
hands
fine.
down.
All right. And Crystal
It might
says,
be three of.
oh,
but
okay,
it's
gotcha.
not.
So Crystal said Taco Day is every Tuesday. Yes, indeed,
Oh, we
Taco
can't say
Tuesday.
that. Up.
Uh-oh, am I going to be in trouble
You
for
know,
copyright? Because Taco John's
has
is
a
good.
nasty
Well,
habit of suing
Taco
people
John's
over
is
that.
fantastic. Please don't sue me. All right, and so now we finish
From
up.
Roddy
We've
and
got
Jules, LLC.
LLC. We here at Roddy and Jules LLC would like to verify that we did in no way intend to harm Taco John's. Please don't sue us. All right, so when you're thinking about creating a holiday, whether it's serious or ridiculous, what it comes from with so many of these, it was an original idea in one person or one small group of people. They created interest, they created groundswell. It started to spread across regions and cultures. It really took hold. Sometimes to become a federal holiday, it takes an act of Congress, literally. And other times it takes global adoption and acceptance. So like I said, not everybody that celebrates Christmas is necessarily Christian. They're just enjoying the generalized concepts of it. And that's a beautiful thing. I love it. And so Inger says, Dr. Seuss Day, origin for Stop, Drop, and Read Day. Nice. And so Dr. Seuss, of course, being one of the great children's writers.
Not a real doctor.
I don't know why you got to rub that in. Sir, you are not a real doctor either. I hate to break it down.
TV.
We've got a song coming up for that. Oh, wow. We'll talk about that. So that was everything on my list, guys. First of all, thank you to all of you that are commenting. I so appreciate it. Thank you to all of you that are watching, whether you're watching now or whether you watch after you record.
To read your comments, but the algorithm loves your comments.
You're such a robot. You're such a
Feed
robot.
it.
You little robot. Oh, my goodness. So, of course, now is the time when I make the announcement of what is next week going to be. So, first of all, next week is going to be March 17th, Tuesday, March 17th, which is St. Patrick's Day. So some of you might be out celebrating, and that's fine. I am going to celebrate in here, and our theme will be all things Celtic. So it will not only be...
Are you parading with me? Or are you just old and broken?
Maybe.
Like
I don't know. And so Stephen said, oh, that would be a great future topic, kids, authors, stories. Yes, I'm going to make note of that. I'm going to scribble that down, and we'll talk about our favorite children's books. That sounds like a great idea. I'm adding that to the list for sure. Don't know when, but
favorite children's
I like it.
Books like Lord of the Rings.
I mean, you read it as a child. I get that. So, or the history of nursery rhyme. Yes, that can be part of our discussion as well, and that would be a whole bunch of fun.
And the development of them into
but sir, your parade is happening during the day.
That's right.
And this happens in the evening.
Yeah.
You would probably be home in time to be able to watch this. Inger says no parade.
I didn't think so, but if I'm gonna have a brownie around, I just want to know.
Oh, yeah, to know in advance, if
You gotta
possible.
brace
It's
yourself
not.
for
It's
that.
never guaranteed. So, but yes, if possible. So, so we are going to not just talk about Irish things on St. Patrick's Day. We're going to talk about Scottish things. You know what else is Celtic? Wales. So we'll talk about Welsh things. We'll talk about Cornish things. We'll talk about things from Brittany and things from. Is Isle of Man considered Celtic or
There's
not?
about 3 of those isles that are Celtic.
Yep. So Kat says we'll have to watch hours after. Sorry to miss, but Kat, that is exactly the point. Whether you can't make it during the live, we'll miss your commentary, but I'm always happy when those of you decide to come in and watch it later. And feel free to comment later too, because I'm watching those comments.
In that and she'll reply
and then
to
I
it
get to
stuff,
see
and
it, and
it's always
it
nice.
is a whole lot of fun. But you will have a hook. So you're getting Captain Nick.
Oh, brilliant.
Yep.
He's almost always there.
I know,
always
dedicated,
enjoy seeing him.
very dedicated human being, very good at that role. I love it. So that is our announcement. Like I said, next week is going to be all things Celtic, and so we'll say, maybe we'll have a little contest. Is it Irish? And then we figure out, bagpipes. What are those? Scottish. Kilts. Scottish. Julian pipes. Irish. Yeah, so we've got some things that we'll get to talk about. And this, of course, kind of feeds into our Renaissance festy kind of stuff that we've discovered over the years and things that we love to learn about. Scotch is Scottish. Yeah. Irish whiskey. It is Irish. Yeah, good job. That's pretty good. So that's what we're going to cover. Like I said, we're already to the top of the hour. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are so awesome, and you make this so much fun to do. And feel free to suggest more categories. I've got a whole bunch of categories that we're still just getting to, and I'll keep announcing them as we go. So thank you so much to having Stephen join me here, a.k.a. Roddy, a.k.a. Dr. D, who he is going to be when we're at Oklahoma. So, all right. Bye, guys. Thanks again, and have a good evening, and we'll see you next week for All Things Celtic.